Good morning, everyone. I'm Reen Wilcoxon from Embroidery Garden, and thanks for joining me today for my September demo. Seems like it's been a little while since I've done one. I think my last one was in June, but I'm back to doing them again. So let's see where everybody's from. I see a lot of people coming in today. I see Caroline, I see Valerie's here. Oh, we got a lot of people, and people are already typing in hashtag garden. So hashtag garden is for the $20 gift card to Embroidery Garden, which I will draw live at the end of the demo. But we also have another great giveaway, and I'm going to tell you how to enter that giveaway in just a few minutes. So thanks, everyone, for joining me. And today we're going to be talking about my little pumpkin pouch. This is what I'm going to be stitching today. We'll talk about it a little bit more in just a bit, but I do have a few things that I want to talk about that are coming up before we actually get started on the demo. I do have quite a bit of things coming up. So Karen, if you want to start the PowerPoint, and we're going to go ahead and start talking about some of these. So recently I hit 100,000 followers on Facebook. It's really a big milestone for me. I worked hard to get there. And what it's telling me, it's just not a number, but what it is telling me and showing me is that I'm reaching more people. I'm growing, I'm building, and, I'm just being able to collaborate with more people, more companies and things. So it really is a milestone for me. And to celebrate, I am having a sale. Now, if you follow me on Facebook already or are signed up for my newsletter or in my Facebook group, you already know that I've had a sale going on. This sale has been going on, it'll be almost 10 days, but it's going to be ending Monday night, September 30th at midnight Central. So if you want to still get in on the sale, the code to use is EG100K. Use it at checkout. It's going to take 50% off of your order if you have $25 minimum in your cart. It does not work on items that are already on sale, but you can use those sale items to get to that $25 minimum to activate the code. And remember, that code ends Monday night, September 30th. You might want to get a pencil and paper and write down a few of these things that I'm going to be talking about that I've got coming up. So the next thing coming up on October 3rd, I'm going to be live with Ashley from Designs and Machine Embroidery on Between Friends. And what I'm going to talk about on that is my Halloween quilt. So some of you, again, if you're following me or in my group, you've seen the Halloween quilt. I'm just kind of showing it here a little bit. And how I did this was I used Dime software. I used the new special effects software, and I created chenille for using Shannon Fabrics Cuddle material. And this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about stitching fabrics with nap, because it does have a nap,
and we'll talk about how I created some of these designs. Whoops, where's the pumpkin? Some of the designs for this quilt. It's so soft, it's so cuddly, and that's what we're going to be talking about on their Facebook page. So you'll go to Designs and Machine Embroidery's Facebook page or their YouTube channel on October 3rd at 1 p.m. Central. I know Caroline is all excited about this quilt. I am too. It is just to die for. It's so cute. On October 4th, I'm going to be doing a one-day event, and it's going to be at the Cork Emporium. And let's go one slide ahead, Karen. And I'm going to be doing 3 projects. It's in Napanee, Indiana. You will have to call the number 574-773-877 to see if there are any spots or any last-minute cancellations. If you are near Napanee, we will be doing the 3 projects there. It's going to be a lot of fun. They have a really nice retreat center there. On October 18th and 19th, on the next slide, I'm going to be in person at Amy Bachman's Sew and Quilt in Harmony, Pennsylvania. It's going to be a 2-day event. We're going to stitch 6 in the hoop projects. Amy's going to give you lunch. She's going to give you kits, and she's going to provide machines to stitch on. So you want to get signed up for that. There is a link to sign up. Karen just put up the link. I know that it is way over halfway filled now. So if you want to get in on this, register today to get your seat. And we're going to have so much fun. Amy's retreat center is connected to her store. So you've got easy access to shopping. I'm already making my list of what I want. On, let's see, November 14th, on the next slide, I am hosting Dime's Special Effects Software Virtual Embroidery event. You do have to register for this free event. When you do, you're going to get the special link to watch it, to watch the replay. The event is going to center around that software that I showed you that Halloween quilt. That's the software that I used. This software, what it does is it will apply special effects like chenille, like plaid, like mylar, like 3D foam, embossing, fringe, and more, really in just the click of a button. So you do have to register for this event. It will be on November 14th, and you are going to get the link to watch. You're going to get special discount codes. You're going to get a free shipping code. So it's well worth watching. So get signed up for that. On February 14th, February 12th or 13th. It's February 12th through 13th, or February 14th and 15th. I'm going to be in the San Diego area, specifically San Marcos, at sewingmachineplus.com. We are doing a 2-day event. Blaine is calling it Stitch and Switch, where basically you're going to get the opportunity to stitch on 6 different brands of top-of-the-line machines. We are going to complete 6 projects, 6 in the hoop designs, and you would either pick February 12th and 13th or the 14th and 15th. You need to register for this. Karen's put up the link to register. You're going to get lunches, you're going to get kits, and you get the use of the top-of-the-line machines. So if you're out there in California, or some people fly in for events, get registered for that now. On next year, well, that was next year. The next thing for next year, and the next slide, I am going to be doing another cruise. This is going to be with Amy Bachman, Sew and Quilt, Sew and Sail. They're calling it the Sew and Sail Spectacular at Sea 1. This time, the cruise, it's going to be a little different. I really like this idea. There's going to be multiple classrooms, multiple instructors, and you're going to kind of rotate around through the different classes. Amy's going to be teaching. I'll be teaching. Stephanie Young from Caesar will be there. Designs by Juju. Julie will be there. Becky from Power Tools with Thread will be there. Two Chicks Quilting will be there. And there's going to be some other classes also. So you want to get signed up for this. You do have to book it through Sew and Sale. The number is 401-310-0011. And you talk to Jamie and book the cruise sailing May 24th to June 1st out of Galveston, Texas. We're going to be sailing around the Caribbean. So you don't want to miss that. You want to get signed up for that. The next thing coming up is Amy Bachman from Amy Bachman Sew and Quilt at amysews.com has provided a brother scan and cut SDX 85 to give away to help me celebrate reaching 100,000 followers. Isn't that fantastic of Amy? Everyone should be giving her a round of applause. Go to her Facebook page, thank her for this. To enter the giveaway for this, you do have to go to embroiderygarden.com/giveaways. It's right there on the screen. You could type it in www.embroiderygarden.com/giveaways. You need to enter your name, and please enter your first name, your last name, and your email address. Double check your email address to make sure that you spelled it correctly, because if you win, that's how you're going to be contacted. The giveaway is going to go through October 6th is when the winner is going to be announced. I kind of let it go for a week so that people who are working today or have other commitments and aren't watching today can still enter. This is a great prize. It's valued at around $275. This will only be shipped to a U.S. Mailing address. So go ahead, get entered, tell your friends about it, and double check those email addresses when you put them in. Let's see. Yeah, everyone's saying nice prize, Amy. Yes, Amy has been very, very generous. She is a big supporter of mine. If you go to her Facebook page, amysews.com or Amy Bachman Sew and Quilt, Amy gives you lots of free content. She does several lives every week. She is the home of the Power Surge subscription box and the Scan and Cut Create subscription box. So she provides a lot of information. Amy is the one that I will be at in just a few weeks here, October 18th and 19th, with the free hands-on in-person event. So I see a lot of people saying thanks to Amy. The only other thing that I didn't put on the list here is Embroidery Garden's favorite things, which is penciled in for December 14th. And if you guys aren't familiar with my favorite things, it is a yearly event that I do where I give away thousands of dollars of prizes. I have companies donate things and during a live show, and everyone looks forward to it. So just kind of make a mental note that this year it's February 14th. All right, so I see a lot of people thanking Amy again. Yes, hi, Carrie. So I think that's all that I had on my list to talk about. Remember, #garden gets you the $20 gift card that will be given away at the end of the demo. You go to the link, embroiderygarden.com/giveaways to enter the giveaway for the scan and cut. So I think we are ready to get started on the actual little pumpkin that we're going to be stitching today. So this is from my pumpkin pouches set. There is this size, which is for a 5x7 hoop that I'm going to be stitching today. It finishes roughly about 5x5. And the set also includes a 4x4 size. This set is on sale through Monday night. So you can go ahead and get it on sale. There is a link for this. And let's see, I'm trying to think. The 50% off sale does end the same night too. Everything ends Monday night, the 30th. So let's take a little bit closer look at what I'm going to be using to make this. All right, so again, here are the sizes. Now on this one, what I did was I made my own fabric. I had made a table runner last year, and I used all these fabrics in the table runner. And I had all these scraps left over. I had all these strips left over. So what I did was I took the strips and I sewed them together, pressed it all flat, came back, subcut those strips. My strips were probably about 2 inches wide. Then I subcut them into 2 inches again, and then just sewed them back together so that they made like this patchwork. This is what is going to the piece for the back today. And I'll just show you kind of, you can see where I just sewed it all together and pressed all the seams open. So it was a great way to use up some scraps that I had. And I don't know, it just kind of adds something different and interesting to the project. So let's kind of look at what I'm going to be using here. So of course I need my zipper, and this looks like a metal zipper. It's not a metal zipper. It's one of those faux metal zippers. I am going to be using a piece of hardware. This is just a swivel hook. Doesn't matter really what size it is. This is a 3/4 inch one. And I'm going to be using just a little piece of cork to attach it. And then I have all my pieces that I need. Of course, I'm going to be using one of my hoop and press pads, and we have a link for hoop and press pads. So you'll see how those work today. And I have hooped a piece of the cutaway no-show. I did go ahead and stitch the first step, which is just the placement line, so you know where to put the zipper. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me kind of arrange some of my stuff here. I just love pumpkins. They're just so cute, especially, you know, this time of year. So again, this was the placement line for the zipper. The zipper goes right side up. I center it between the placement line, and I like to keep the metal part, the pull up here. I don't have a stop down here because this is actually zipper by the yard. But if you had a zipper that had a stop, you would want to make sure that it is well away from the ends of the zipper placement. You can actually kind of see this is how it's going to stitch in there. So if you have it, the pull above or the stop below this placement, you won't be hitting it. So let me go ahead and get it centered in there. The zipper is placed right side up. I am going to tape it down. I like to, with a zipper that is like this short, I mean, this is a smaller design. I only tape at the bottom and up here at the top. If I'm doing a design that has a longer zipper in it, then I will come back and I will tape right along each side edge. Let me just go ahead and make sure that it's straight in the placement line, because if you put it crooked in the placement line, it's going to stitch crooked. Now that that is down, we'll go ahead and go over to the machine. And the next step will actually come through and stitch this zipper in place for us. So we don't have to worry about it moving around. Tammy says she loves her the In the Hoop projects. They are so fun. I agree. And Dinah loves the Amy's Scan and Cut projects. Yes, I do too. She has some wonderful projects, and she's very giving with her knowledge, her files, and everything. So it is well worth the few minutes that it takes to go to her Facebook page and give her a follow. All right, so now the zipper is attached. Let's go ahead and come back to the table. And I saw somebody, Dolores, the stabilizer. This is just like the cutaway, the poly mesh, that no-show type of cutaway. Because I want this bag, it's small. I want it to be nice and soft. Okay, now that this is down, we need to work on the back side of the hoop. And that's where my hoop and press pad comes in. Using a 5x7 hoop, I'm going to use a 5x7 hoop and press pad. So we have pads for the major machines, the brands, and for the majority of the hoops. So what the pad does is it allows you to work on the back side of the hoop. You place it over the hoop and press pad, and now I have support underneath this hoop so that I can tape well when I put my fabrics on. I'll be pressing fabrics down, and this pad is going to allow me to do that without disturbing my stabilizer. So let's start with our first piece, which will be a lining piece. It's going to go right side down, and one long edge is going to go along the placement line for the zipper on the right-hand side. So I just get it in line here, and I am going to tape it down. Let me just grab a couple of pieces of tape. And you can see with the hoop and press pad underneath here, I can press down really hard. A lot of people use different kinds of tape, different types of tape. Doesn't matter what kind that you use, but you have to be able to press it down so that it sticks to that stabilizer on the back. Nothing is worse than flipping your hoop to the front side and having that piece fall off of the back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the tape off of the front side of the zipper because it's stitched down. I don't need it on the front side, but I am going to take one of the pieces and I'm going to tape this pull down. This zipper kind of has a larger pull, and I don't want it, moving down here where the foot could possibly hit it. So I'm just going to tape it down. Now I need to put the piece of fabric on for the front on, and again, my patchwork that I made, and it goes right side down, lined up with the left-hand side of the zipper. I just center it. I'm centering it up and down in the hoop. And I am going to tape this on because I find that if I don't, and I'm doing a live especially, it could move or shift on me. All right, so now that that's taped, we're going to go to the machine again. And this next step is going to stitch these two pieces to the edge of the zipper. One thing, since I created this fabric myself, I want to watch these folds. So I'm just going to kind of hold it down a little bit. And I only have those there again because I created the fabric in kind of a patchwork pattern. All right, it's time to go back to the table. This is stitched down, so I will take these pieces of tape off. I'm going to put a piece of batting down, and for this project, I'm just using some thin polyester batting. It's going to go even with this line that just stitched. And then I'm going to take my fabric on the top, and I'm going to fold it over. Now, this is the time where I want to press. I can use my press pad, my hoop and press pad, just as a pressing pad near my machine. Let me make sure I have this lined up before I actually get my iron out to press. Okay, now that everything is lined up, I'm going to press it. This creates a nice crisp fold. And the next step is going to stitch, is just a couple of lines here to resemble the lines in a pumpkin. Let's go back to the machine. This piece of lining fabric, you can see right here through the stabilizer, stays there. We do not move it. And again, it's just kind of quilting a couple of little decorative lines to mimic that, the lines in a pumpkin. I see Lisa likes the idea with the patchwork. Yeah, I do too. And plus, I used up those scraps that I had. I thought it was kind of a neat idea just to use up the scrap, and it just kind of adds something a little bit different. And people are entering their hashtag garden for the $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com. And remember, get entered for the Scan and Cut SDX 85 from Amy Bachman. Debbie loves her press pads. Thank you very much. This is a quick and easy project. Let's go back to the table. All right, now that this is stitched down and these are the little lines, we're going to go to the back side of the hoop again. So I'm going to put the hoop over my hoop and press pad. I'm going to remove this tape because this piece of fabric is stitched down. I don't need it. And now this piece is going to get folded over. And at this point, this is where I want to press with an iron because it's going to give me a really nice crisp fold here. This is the lining for the inside of the bag. And if you press it at this point, this piece is going to lay nice and flat and just look so pretty. All right, so now that it's pressed nice and flat, I am going to tape it just to hold it in place. And while we're still on the back side, we're going to take the next piece of lining. And this time it gets turned right side down, just like the other one. And it gets aligned with this edge of the zipper. Let me just line it up. I am going to tape it in place. Hoop and press pads are on sale right now too. So go to that link that Karen put up for the hoop and press pads and look for the pad for your machine. You can buy bundles and save, or you can get individual pads. All right, so I've got this piece taped on. I'm going to turn to the front side. I need my other piece of fabric. Now, this is something that I did for this bag here. Remember, I created this fabric and there are squares. When I put this down, you know, when it's done, I want my lines to kind of line up. You know, I could just put it down and, you know, if it doesn't line up, it's not a huge deal, but things like this, I pay attention to. So let me just put it right side down and line it up here. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of hold it and I'm going to turn it because this is how it will get flipped. And I'm just moving it a bit to line up, you know, the seams, you know, as best I can. And now let me just flip it back, make sure it's against the edge. And this, you know, it's not, you know, really necessary, but I kind of want the edges to all line up. I am going to tape it down. And again, the machine now is going to stitch that lining piece and this top piece down. I am going to be holding it down again, just so the foot doesn't catch on any of these little folds. So let's go back to the machine. Before I start, I want to grab my little stick here. And I'm just going to be watching, holding this fold down so that the foot doesn't catch on it. I could put a piece of tape there if I wanted to. Whoops. That one flipped, but that's okay. Whoops. Let me just make sure that I hold this other one down. That's not going to make any difference that that thing flipped. You just want to make sure that the foot does not catch and, you know, throw something off. All right, you can see how quickly this project goes. All right, I can take the tape off here because this fabric is stitched down. Bird Dog uses her press and pads, hoop and press pads all the time. The best embroidery item. Well, thank you very much. I am pretty partial to them myself. So I'm going to take the next piece of batting, lay it even with that seam. Whoops. I'm going to take the next piece of batting, lay it even with that seam that just stitched. Let's see, I like that edge better. Fold this top piece over. Use my hoop and press pad just as a pressing pad this time. Give it a nice little press. This was the whole premise of me, you know, developing these hoop and press pads, is because I wanted to be able to press in the hoop. You know, if you were stitching this on a sewing machine, you would press after every step. So why not do it when you're doing it in the hoop on your embroidery machine? You still need to press after most steps. So let's go back to the machine, and it's going to do the lines on this side that mimic these that it did earlier. Make sure that fabric piece is still where the lining piece is still where it needs to be. And let it start to stitch those lines. And remember to get entered for that scan and cut. And I will be posting on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page about it again, probably tomorrow with, you know, the link again, so that if you didn't get entered today, you can still have until October 6th. Everyone loves hoop and press pads, and they love in the hoop projects. And this project, again, it's quick and it's on sale. So get it while it's on sale. You do get the both sizes, the one for the 5x7 hoop that I'm stitching now, and the little one for the 4x4 hoop. And here's that little one for the 4x4 hoop. Cute, cute. This one, I just used a regular dress zipper in it, a number 3. Both of these files use a number 3 zipper. All right, so it stitched this down. It's time to go to the back side of the hoop again. Put the hoop over my hoop and press pad. I'm going to remove the tape from this lining piece since it's already stitched down. And, you know, you don't want to be pressing with the iron on the back side with tape because it will melt and you won't like that. So I'm going to fold this piece of lining over, use my iron again, get a nice crisp seam. So when you open up your bag, your lining is going to be so nice. Let me open up this finished one, and you can see in there, you know, it just really, by pressing, you get such a nice look inside your bag. Your lining's not all bunchy. It's not all wrinkled. All right, so while I'm still on the back side, I do have to remove this piece of stabilizer here because my zipper teeth are right behind here, and that's how I will access my bag when it's done. So the hoop and press pad still helps when you are trimming out this piece of stabilizer because it provides support underneath here. So when I take my scissors, and I like to use these little bitty curved Kai scissors, they have this little curved tip. And when I go to press down, and I can feel that hoop and press pad pushing back up so that I know not to go down so far that I will cut my zipper. If you cut your zipper at this point, you pretty much have a problem, and basically you can't fix that, and you would have to start over. And I just take the scissors. I got one side done, and I can just take the scissors and just run. I'm not even clipping like this. I just have the scissors in there, and I'm just running it along that seam. So by removing this piece of stabilizer, that's what's going to allow me to open up my bag and be able to access it. Otherwise, that piece of stabilizer would be right there. And it's so much harder to open it up and trim it out after it's done than it is at this point. Oh, Sheila was on the last step of a project last week, and with the seam ripper, and she ripped the zipper, and you could probably hear her yelling. Yeah. I sometimes have used a seam ripper, but I just prefer the scissors. All right, so the back side, I am going to tape this down over here just because I don't want it to move. A lot of times when you press like I did, everything is so nice and flat. Sometimes I don't put, you know, the tape on, but I know a lot of you like to put the tape on. So at this point, I am going to unzip the zipper halfway. We take the tape off of that pull. Get it unzipped halfway. And at this point now, if you want to add a piece of hardware to hold a swivel hook or something, all I did was cut a piece of cork. Mine is about 3/4 of an inch wide because my hardware is 3/4 of an inch wide. I'm just going to slip it through the hook part, bring the cut ends together. A lot of times I like to machine stitch over that because when it's finished, I don't want it to slip. I hate when that happens. You know, and you get done and it looks like that instead of being right on top of each other. So instead of me, you know, running a sewing machine across there real quick, I'm just going to use a little piece of tape, very small piece, get those ends together, and then put the tape on, fold it over to hold that together. The ends of the lines here where it did like little pumpkin sections, you just want to make sure that you have about 1/2 of an inch sticking out. The cut ends go towards the outside of the hoop. The fold with any hardware would point towards the inside of the hoop. I'm just going to put a piece of tape there at the end. And sometimes I like to make sure that the ends of the zipper, the teeth, are together, and just put another little piece of tape up there so you know, I wouldn't get any type of a gap or anything. So with that on there, the next step is to put the back piece on and my batting. So again, this is my patchwork. It just goes right side down over the top of the hoop. I want to make sure that my hardware and everything is laying there correctly. You know, you can kind of line up the edges here. I'm getting a little kind of picky, but it's all up to you. So once you have the back piece right side down, the next piece is just a piece of batting. Yeah, that piece of cork was just to hold my swivel hook on. You can make a little fabric tab if you want. I didn't want to go to all that trouble. I've got a bunch of cork laying around. It doesn't fray. So I just use it to attach hardware to most things. So now at this point, we're ready to stitch the next step. And it's just going to stitch a line here on the side, which basically attaches these two pieces of fabric. Tammy, you would line up the seams too. Yeah, I mean, it just takes a second, so why not? And again, this is a short step. It is just going to stitch a little seam there. Cindy wants to know where you can buy the cork fabric strip. I actually just buy cork. I buy cork on rolls, and I just cut a little strip. And yeah, you can get cork, you know, basically anywhere nowadays. Most sewing stores sell it. You can get it online. All right, time to go back to the table. And the last step, we have our lining piece. We need to go to the back side of the hoop again. So I'm going to grab my hoop and press pad, turn the hoop over, take my last piece of lining, put it right side down, cover the back side of the hoop. And I am going to tape this in place. And again, I can press down. The piece on the back, your very last piece, it really needs to be secured well. So that hoop and press pad is allowing you to press that tape down very well. Because this piece you really don't want to shift or move because it's the last piece. It's the largest piece on the back side. So now we're going to go back to the machine. It's a good idea to kind of make sure everything is in line on the front side. I personally am a pinner, and I like to pin everything together at this point, and I pin at the very top edges. Make sure I caught that lining piece, and at the very bottom edges. I am well out of the way of the next step that's going to stitch, you know, this bag together. But I like to do this just because sometimes batting likes to move around on you. And if I do this, I know that it's not going anywhere. But if you pin, again, make sure that you are well out of the way of the stitch line and watch so that your pins don't get hit. So we're going to go back to the machine. This is stitching the last step. Whoops, double check everything is okay. And I'm going to let it stitch that last step that stitches the bag together, and it leaves an opening. And David says the hoop and press pads are the bee's knees. I agree too. I absolutely love them. I use them. I use mine daily because if I'm not doing it in the hoop project, I am using this as just a pressing pad. You know, if you like to quilt or do anything like that, it's great for that. You can press your blocks as you're going. They're great for applique. A lot of people don't know that when you do applique, machine embroidery applique, or even just doing it on your sewing machine, that you want to turn your hoop upside down and press from the back side, because when you're doing an applique and you've got it on top of your hoop and press pad, the adhesive, the glue, fusible, whatever you want to call it, that you've used on your applique fabric is pointing upwards. So then when you put your iron on it, it's activating the fusible and drawing it up into your base fabric so that you get a really nice bond. All right, this is done stitching. One thing I do want to mention for those of you that are purchasing this file, you will notice at this point on your machine, there is one more step, but you do not stitch it. And what that step is, I can't really draw on this, is an X up here in the corner. And what that does is when this stitch here that went around stops sewing, machines, since this would be the end of the design, the foot goes back to the center. Sometimes there are some machines like a Viking machine that will come back to the center and take a stitch. Even if it doesn't take a stitch, if it comes back to the center, what problem do we have? Right underneath here, I can feel it. There is my swivel hook and my zipper pull would be right there in the center. So I wouldn't want the foot to come here and run into any of this. So that's why that X is there. It makes the machine and foot come to this point, and you could take the hoop off the machine instead of it coming here to the center and possibly bumping against your metal that you have underneath here. So just know that I add that extra step in there whenever the machine is going to come and possibly hit something in the center. Okay, so this is ready to come out of the hoop. And always check the back. What I do, and I didn't just now, was while it's still in the hoop, I always check the back side before I take it out. All right, we're ready to start our trimming. What I like to do is this batting, I want to trim it close to those stitches. And the reason I like to do this is it gets rid of bulk. You want to get rid of as much bulk in your seams. If you have a design that has corners or anything in it, you just want to get rid of that
Can you push that up a little bit, Reen?
Oh, sorry.
It's almost out. Thank you.
And now with this, remember, I made this fabric and I had these seams. I want to be careful that I don't, clip that too close or anything. So I'm just taking this batting off around here, close to the stitching. It's going to help my seams to lie flatter and help me to round out this pumpkin because he has a shape. You see this one? You see his shape? His sides come out. He goes up at the bottom. He comes down at the top there where the swivel hook is. All right, got that. Now you want to find the opening, which would be on the lining side. Here it is right here. What I always do is at my opening, I make my 2 cuts, and I'm only cutting to about 1/4 inch of those stitch lines. And since this is a rounded side here, I kind of like to clip into it, both sides. Then I take this opening and I'm going to cut it about 1 inch long. And I always start the opening because sometimes I'll get distracted, I'll forget, and I'll be clipping around, and then I've cut off everything that I needed to turn in. So kind of be aware of that. Then now I'm going to go around and just cut a 1/4 inch. And I want to know which end I'm at here. I'm at the bottom of the bag. Because why I wanted to know which end I was at, because when I get up here to the top of the bag, I've got that piece of cork that's holding that swivel hook. I don't want to cut that really short, because if you attach your swivel hook to something and you've cut this short, that ends, let me grab them here so you can see them, the ends of the little piece of cork, as you are pulling on it, it could pull out. So don't cut that real short. Leave that longer. And how I'm going to do that is I'm just kind of trimming everything around it first. I'm holding it down so I don't cut it. Then I'll hold it this way so I can get the fabrics on the back side. And I can come out and, kind of clean it up a little bit still. But I just want to make sure that I don't cut that off. And what I said here is I'm going to kind of clean it up a little bit on both sides. All right. And since this is a rounded shape, get rid of this, I want to clip my curves. And I'm just going to make little snips around the bag. Just make sure you don't cut that stitching. You could use pinking shears. Even though with pinking shears, I may come back and kind of make these clips, especially around the top curve, the bottom curve, and where the bottom kind of comes in a little bit, just to make sure you give your bag the shape that it needs. And I'm going to trim up a little bit up here. Okay, now back at the opening. Look at all these layers that we have. We don't need all those. You only need the 2 that make the opening up. That's the 2 lining pieces, this piece and this piece. Everything back behind all that, this is all bulk. So I'm going to trim that down 1/4 inch to get rid of that. And now we're ready to turn the bag. Suzanne, the reason that I'll do it here now while I still haven't turned it. The reason I put an X up here in the design and that you don't stitch it is because when it stitches this last step and it's going around, and if this were the last step of the design, the outline, your machine would return to center. When embroidery designs are done, the foot returns to the center. Underneath here, I have this swivel hook and this zipper pull. And I don't want to take the chance of this bulky items underneath here with the foot stopping, the machine stopping, the design is done, and it coming here and it hitting this metal. You can hear it. So that's why that X is there. The instructions tell you not to stitch it, but it makes the foot go to that next stitch. And then you just take it off, and there is no way you're going to hit that metal from the zipper or the hardware. So now I'm just going to reach in, turn the bag. Make sure you have something to, poke corners out and round it all out. And again, since this is something shaped, it has rounded sides and the top. Notice this is the bottom, but notice how it goes in. It dips in, does the same thing at the top. Let me grab my little tool. Here it is. I like to use this little tool here. It has a rounded end. It is metal, and it does a really nice job of getting in there and rounding out corners. If you have square corners, it really works nicely to poke those all out. I just like to run it around the curve, and it gets everything into that shape. So see, now we're already starting to have the shape here. Now, this is an opening on a curve. It's a little bit different than an opening on a straight part of a bag or something. So I am going to, you're going to turn it under. You're going to turn both sides under. Using fusible tape on this, you really need to be really good with your fusible tape, but I would hand stitch it just because it's a curve. It's real easy to just, quickly hand stitch, get both edges lined up, get them turned under nicely. And at this point, I would press it and just whip stitch this closed. You're never going to see it. A lot of people worry about, oh, my hand stitching isn't very good and blah, blah. Don't worry about it because no one's ever going to see it. It ends up being on the inside curve of the bag. So I'm not going to take the time to hand stitch this closed right now, but you would. And now it's time to fully open up that zipper and then reach inside and turn the bag to the right sides. And again, you really want to work and get those corners, curves, and everything, seams pushed out really nicely. I'll use my tool again. This is where a lot of people don't want to take the time. They're so excited to get the project done that, they just turn it and go. But it's really important to get your seams and your corners or curves pressed out. Once I have it how I like it, again, use my hoop and press pad just as a little pressing pad. I don't have to get up and walk over to my iron or anything. I can press it right here, and I give the back side a little press. And let's see how everything turned out. Looks like I'm pretty good with my seams lined up on the front. That one might be a little bit off, but that's okay. And that's it. That is how quick and easy it is to finish the little pumpkin pouch. Did you guys like that? I think it turned out just adorable. It's so, so cute. And this is the 5x7 hoop size, which ends up being about 5x5. Perfect for this time of year. I can see these done in all types of Halloween fabric, not just, pumpkin-y oranges or yellows or anything, but all kinds of different fabrics. In fact, in the Hoop Facebook group, someone made this and they used vinyl, and it turned out really, really cute. So you do have other options. So are there any questions about anything that I talked about today? Tina, thank you so much. Remember, get your hashtag garden in now because I'm going to be drawing that winner here in just a minute or so. And don't forget to go to embroiderygarden.com/giveaways. There's an S on the end, giveaways, to enter for that Scan and Cut SDX 85 from Amy Bachman. Be sure to go follow her on Facebook. And all the events and things that I talked about coming up while you're at embroiderygarden.com, if you click on events, I have a calendar that's a monthly calendar. You can subscribe to it and it will show you everything that's happening with Embroidery Garden, where I'm going to be at, what I'm going to be doing. So it's great. You can subscribe to it. You can even add it to your calendar. So if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to be picking that winner for the $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com. Let me get the thing up here that's going to do it. I always forget where it's at. Okay, we have 255 entries today. Wow, that's quite a few. So I'm going to go ahead and draw. You know what? Since we have so many people, I'm going to give away 2 $20 gift cards today. So let's draw for the first one. If you are the winner, please contact me at support@embroiderygarden.com to claim the gift card. And the winner is Terry Clark. So Terry, I believe I recognize your name from being a purchaser from me. So just send me a email at support@embroiderygarden.com and I'll get you that gift card. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw another one today. Give me a little bit of time too this afternoon. I'll respond to your emails for the winners. I'll probably be eating some lunch and stuff. Tara Hinton, you are the winner of a second $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com. So please remember to send that email to support@embroiderygarden.com. Okay, everyone. I want to thank you for watching my demo. This morning I said that I didn't, do one in July and August because I was just so busy. I do have one planned for next month. I think it's something that you're really going to enjoy. So I can't wait to come back next month. Be watching my page, my newsletters, etc., to know the exact date. And I want everyone to have a great day, and I will see you next time. Thanks.